So, I asked some of you guys in my community tab, do you want to see the return of the Avengers game show? And it's safe to say there was a good amount of you guys that said yes, so here we are, episode, I have no idea what one it is, but we're back with the Avengers game show. Now, just to give you some sort of idea on what this video is about and what the series is about if you're new to it, it's where we basically come together as a community, like anyone that has an interest level of 1 out of 10 even for this game, where we just share ideas on things we want to see in the game, we share our, I guess, vision in terms of like ideas, theories, expectations, etc. And the reason why these episodes were so good is because a few devs had actually reached out to me via Discord saying that they do watch the videos, and hey, it's just, I mean, that's huge, alright? So it's like, even if anything goes ahead with the ideas that we share or not, it's the fact that if they still watch our content, it gets acknowledged, right? So that's basically what we try and do. We just try and like make this video the voice of the community. So if you have any ideas on things you want to see in this game in the near future, however crazy it sounds, let me know in the comments below. The ones that get the most thumbs up will then be featured in the next video. So in this one, I'm going to kick it off with the Year 2 content roadmap concept that we got from a fan in the community a while back. It was a very, very optimistic one, but now it weirdly makes way more sense than it did back in like May, I think, when I last covered this. And then I did pick out a comment from somebody who posted it in a community tab, so we got some really good stuff to go through. So what you're seeing in the background right now is Marvel's Avengers Year 2 content roadmap that of course is not official because of how optimistic it is, but it was done by somebody in the community. Now this is going back like in, I think it was May, top of my head, but I know it was created by somebody who goes by the name Redmania. I'll find the original post and then I'll link it in the description below. When this was revealed, it had so many people just go off the rails in a good way, because again, back then we didn't even have anything for Black Panther especially, so it was like a very, very dry time for the game where people were just hanging on to almost nothing. We just kind of hung on to hope, I guess you could say. So when this dropped, none of it kind of made sense. It was all very optimistic, but now where we are right now with the game, it all kind of makes sense. So let's talk about what's going on from October to December, because I think these are the most important months. Now, again, like I said, check out Redmania. I will find the link and then put it in the description below. Just go ahead and support the posts, because again, they do listen to the community in general, and when I say them, I'm talking about the people working on Marvel's Avengers. So definitely check out and support that post. So with October, see, this is where things get interesting, right? Because back then, we technically kind of like had teasers about the events in the game, etc, etc, but it wasn't really anything set in stone. So again, it was all just like myths and theories. And then when the Black Panther trailer was dropped, and then the whole thing that they're doing with the game now, where it's like all the free promo, etc, etc, it was basically like, hey, we're going to be doing these in-game events, etc, etc. So now, when you take a look at this roadmap for October, November and December, it seems very, very likely. Now, October is very optimistic, and I say likely in terms of getting some sort of like Halloween cosmetic event sort of thing going on. Would it be Avengers Zombies? I have absolutely no idea. I still think it's very much a slim chance of that to happen, but when this was released, and of course which it still says right here, is that the whole theory would be October is Avengers Zombies, where you get the Halloween cosmetics, you also get a new mission type, you get new gear, and then there's this mode where it's basically survive the undead versions of Earth's mightiest heroes. And then November was Manhattan Patrol. Now, Patrol mode is basically the free roam element of the game. Now we know we are still yet to get Wastelands Patrol, right? So that's going to be like the first test. And then after that, we would basically get more access to other maps in the game, where we can go ahead and free roam freely and discover things, and like random enemies will pop up, etc, etc. So November technically would make sense for Wastelands Patrol, just not this scenario here with the Manhattan one, because again, Wasteland was going to be before. Now December still for Spider-Man makes complete sense. It actually does sync up to basically everything going on, because we know we got literally, we're a week away, by the way, right, until we get this Black Panther DLC. So when you take all of that stuff into account, we spoke about this in yesterday's video, right? We know the No Way Home film, December, etc, etc. It would be crazy if they didn't take advantage. We know we were told by one of the devs who accidentally slipped up by saying all I can say is that it's this year, but you guys know that already, which of course we didn't. So we now know this year is still on track for Spider-Man. This whole roadmap, by the way, is something that we're really anticipating for next Monday, right? Where we're going to be getting that deep dive video, because they have teased the fact that there's going to be something else. So this is hopefully something very similar to what we should be expecting to see. If they don't, I think that'd be crazy, but we also know this week is a very big build up for the DLC as well, so there's going to be a lot of stuff going down. So December for Spider-Man, it'll be a new hero and the event, new cosmetics, outfits will be inspired by the MCU. Again, with these skins, we didn't have as many MCU skins out back then, so all of this stuff definitely does make sense now. January would be She-Hulk. Again, that was teased since I think before launch, right? So we know that's a character that's going to be coming into the game. It's just the fact that what makes us really optimistic is that it's every single month that we get a new piece of content. So we like February will be the Trials of Loki, then Ultron, Protocol. April, Winter Soldier. Of course, we already know that, by the way. That was leaked by Miller a while back now, alongside, of course, well, you got Legacy in May, and then you got War Machine, which would be in June. But according to Miller's one, it was basically like Winter Soldier. I think it was before War Machine, or it was the other way around. But so far, Miller's, I don't think Miller's leaked anything more recently, because I guess the team are actually revealing what they're doing with the game now. Before, it was just Miller single-handedly just trying to hold the community together. So I think if you actually take this into account, whichever way we go, I think it was like War Machine, then Winter Soldier, but either way we know they are definitely on the list. It's just how realistic is it to be in like April and June, or I'll basically just say like summer next year, right? I don't know how I feel about that. MODOK clone, I wish we don't get, I hope we don't get, in fact. The whole element, and my theory right now is with the Black Panther DLC, that of course is meant to almost be like the ending of AIM, but again we'll have to wait and see. And then August would be the Chimera defense, so again it's just like an expanded Chimera outpost, which it says, and then more MCU outfits, and then you got the Kree Invasion expansion, right, which is September, which would be like another build up to what we're getting, this big one in the sense of the Black Panther DLC. That's a big content drop. Now you see the additional content in the middle, that's stuff that still has its relevancy, because cosmetics rework, okay, that might be like a small element going on right now, but we got the new UI, right, so we know that's coming. Emote wheel has actually been discussed anyway, and earnable consumables, like again, that's also being discussed to an extent. So you look at this stuff and it makes way more sense now than it did back in May, because we now know what's actually going on with the game. Now, just to bring up a comment that I want to end this video on, which one of you guys said regarding the next roadmap in the community tab, is what you want to see is an overhauled gear system, because most exotics that I get are basically crap compared to like the legendary and the epic gear. Cosmetic items on the helicarrier that are unlocked by those green resources you earn throughout the game. You have access to the outside part of the helicarrier with interactables. Buffs for Hulk, because his grabbing and smashing are such a huge part of his combat. He falls really short in terms of handling bigger enemies. He is very slow and can do very few damage to bigger enemies. Now, alternatively, new ways to unlock credits. Again, and these are things that are now almost like a reality, right? So new ways to unlock credits would be like the patrol mode, etc. More mission variety, interactive mission locations, increased flight speed for Iron Man and Thor. Again, patrol mode we've spoke about. Fixed bugs, that's always going to be a thing. And then challenge cards, again, that's what we see in the new UI. Again, it's just like how these are going to be pushed upon us now, and how we can really find the loophole with that, I don't really know yet, but I think that's still important to take into account. Another thing is Avengers to be interacting with some events with their voice lines instead of Jarvis, right? And Jarvis has always been one of those scenarios where people genuinely disliked, so I think it's probably a scenario of that being held back just due to voice actors, but the relevance to that point still stands till today. It's definitely something that people aren't 100% with, but it's almost one of those things now that are probably least cared about compared to like back last year where everything was just a complete shambles. So when we take a look, and just to round up this video, when we take a look at that roadmap, and although it was so optimistic back in May, some parts of it now actually do make sense. The only thing that's very optimistic is the fact that it's every single month, but the content in general does seem all very, very realistic. So most of that is also coming into like reality now as well. But guys, leave your thoughts on this stuff in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.